Hello everyone, welcome to History and Culture. The marriage of princesses as political alliances was a unique marital system in ancient China. In simple terms, it involved the emperor marrying off his daughter to a foreign ruler or prince. This practice served multiple purposes. It strengthened diplomatic relations between nations, secured national interests such as border stability and trade promotion, and even extended China's influence abroad. This approach was common throughout Chinese history and reached its peak during the Tang, Song, Ming, and Qing dynasties. By facilitating such alliances, the court not only strengthened internal control but also maintained peace with frontier ethnic groups, while promoting cultural and economic exchanges along the way. During the reign of Emperor Kangxi of the Qing Dynasty, one princess became known as the most tragic marriage alliance princess. She was Princess Heshua Duanjing. Though cherished and adored from a young age, her fate took a cruel turn. As an adult, she was sent to Mongolia for a political marriage. However, due to her husband's obsessive and extreme control, she tragically passed away. When Emperor Kangxi learned of her death, he was furious and ordered her husband to be buried alongside her. A decree that shocked the court and society. The life of Princess Heshua Duanjing. Historical records indicate that Princess Heshua Duanjing was Emperor Kangxi's fifth daughter. Born in the 13th year of Kangxi's reign, 1674. Her mother, Lady Zhaojia of the Beauties rank, came from a prominent family. With her father being the emperor, she enjoyed a noble status. The young princess was intelligent, lively, and charming, with striking beauty. Emperor Kangxi adored her deeply and ensured she received the finest education. She excelled in poetry, music, and calligraphy, earning her the reputation of being both talented and beautiful within the palace. Historians note that Emperor Kangxi placed great importance on relations with the Mongols, as they were crucial to the stability of the Qing Empire's borders. Poor relations with the Mongols could lead to national instability. To strengthen ties, Kangxi adopted a policy of goodwill, using marriage alliances to solidify the friendship between the two groups. Thus, Emperor Kangxi decided to marry Princess Heshua Duanjing to the son of a prominent Mongol noble. This union was not only a political alliance but also a gesture of goodwill toward the Mongols. The princess's journey to marriage. In the 29th year of Kangxi's reign, Princess Heshua Duanjing officially departed for Mongolia to marry. On the day of her departure, the Forbidden City was filled with a somber and complex atmosphere. Although Emperor Kangxi tried to conceal his emotions, the fifth princess could see the reluctance in his eyes. Before her departure, he solemnly placed a jade pendant in her hand and advised her, "No matter what difficulties you face, stay strong and uphold the honor of our royal family." At just 16 years old, the princess embarked on the long journey to Mongolia. Sitting in a carriage, she slowly left the Forbidden City. Behind her lay the familiar world she had always known, while before her stretched an uncertain future. From that moment on, she ceased to be the carefree young princess and became Princess Heshua Duanjing, burdened with a critical mission. The procession escorting the fifth princess was unprecedentedly grand. Setting off from the Forbidden City with great fanfare toward the vast Mongolian grasslands. The entourage included hundreds of attendants and guards, along with thousands of camels and horses carrying her dowry and other supplies. This impressive display not only reflected Emperor Kangxi's affection for his daughter but also demonstrated the might of the Qing Empire to the Mongol tribes. The procession included elite 8-banner soldiers for protection, historians to document the journey, and interpreters familiar with Mongolian language and culture. Emperor Kangxi understood that this marriage was not only a turning point in his daughter's life but also a significant diplomatic mission. The journey to deliver the princess was long and arduous. The entourage crossed the Great Wall, traversed the Gobi Desert, and eventually arrived at the vast Mongolian grasslands. Along the way, the fifth princess witnessed the vast expanse of the Qing Empire and its diverse geographical landscapes. At every town they passed, local officials received them with grand ceremonies as a gesture of respect for the royal family. This journey lasted nearly 2 months, and the party finally reached the prince consort's tribal settlement. The Mongolian nobility, having heard the news in advance, had made preparations to welcome her. The prince consort, accompanied by tribal nobles and warriors, lined up to greet her. As the princess's carriage slowly approached, a profound silence fell over the grasslands. And everyone held their breath, eager to catch a glimpse of the Qing princess's elegance. Following Mongolian customs, the prince consort paid his respects to the princess, marking their first meeting. Although they had seen each other's portraits before, their real-life presence far surpassed the depictions in the paintings. To welcome the princess, the Mongolians held a grand wedding ceremony and prepared a luxurious yurt for her, adorned with exquisite felt and silk interiors. The princess's dowry was also moved into her new residence at this time. These rare treasures from the Central Plains, such as fine porcelain, silk, and ornaments, amazed the Mongolian nobility. The princess also brought an imperial edict from Emperor Kangxi and a wealth of rewards, including gold, silver, jewels, delicate porcelain, and tea. This not only elevated her status among the Mongolians but also strengthened the tribal allegiance to the Qing Dynasty. However, for the young fifth princess, adapting to life in Mongolia was not easy. The grassland's climate was far harsher than that of Beijing, bitterly cold in winter and unbearably hot in summer. The diet was another challenge for the princess, as the grassland diet was primarily meat-based. Accustomed to the refined cuisine of the palace, she found it hard to accept the coarse and rugged culinary style. Language posed yet another obstacle. Though she had studied Mongolian before her marriage, she still encountered many difficulties in actual communication. Fortunately, the translators accompanying her helped the princess gradually integrate into the Mongolian noble circles, offering her some comfort in the unfamiliar environment. A brief happiness. Historical records suggest that the marriage between Hsüa-Duanjing princess and the prince consort began as a blissful union. The couple cared for and supported each other, living harmoniously in a lavish palace. However, this happiness did not last long. Doubts began to fester in the prince consort's mind. He became suspicious of an improper relationship between the princess and a guard. Although these suspicions were baseless, they loomed over the prince consort like a dark cloud. His growing paranoia led him to become increasingly sensitive and mistrustful. He began closely monitoring the princess's actions and, unreasonably, forbade her from interacting with other men. Faced with these unfounded accusations, the princess felt both confused and wronged. She tried to stay calm and repeatedly explained her innocence to the prince consort. Yet, his suspicions only deepened, spiraling out of control. Driven by his insecurity and possessiveness, the prince consort took extreme measures, confining the princess to a small room and restricting her freedom. She was barred from any contact with the outside world. Despite this, the prince consort still cared about the princess's well-being. He ensured her basic needs were met, and her living conditions were not diminished. But this care was steeped in control. An attempt to preserve their marriage through imprisonment. A tragic end. For Hsüa-Duanjing princess, such mistrust and confinement were a heavy blow. Having been adored since childhood, she found it unbearable to suddenly be trapped in a small space, stripped of her freedom to interact with the outside world. Her heart was filled with sorrow and despair. Deprived of sunlight and liberty, the princess gradually lost her zest for life. Sadness engulfed her like vines, suffocating her spirit. Her health rapidly declined, and she eventually became gravely ill. During her illness, the prince consort personally tended to her needs, caring for her meals and daily life. However, These efforts could not erase the pain in her heart or restore her fading vitality. Trapped in anguish and despair, Hashua Duanjing Princess ultimately passed away. Her life ended in tragedy, becoming a symbol of a once beautiful but ultimately ill-fated marriage. Emperor Kangxi's fury. Not long after, Emperor Kangxi learned that his beloved Hashua Duanjing Princess had been driven to her death by the prince consort's jealousy and control. Overcome with grief and rage, he vowed to uncover the truth and seek justice for his daughter. As the investigation progressed, Kangxi gathered substantial evidence, proving the prince consort's culpability in the princess's tragic fate. Enraged, Kangxi issued an imperial decree: the prince consort was to accompany the princess in death, paying the ultimate price to honor her memory and console her soul in the afterlife. Some historians remark that Emperor Kangxi's actions to seek justice for Hashua Duanjing Princess not only reflect the depth of his paternal love but also serve as a poignant reminder of the importance of trust and respect in marriage. This is the History and Culture channel. Liking and subscribing are the greatest help and support to us. Thank you everyone, and see you in the next time.